Said, let me in, let me in. Let me in, you bastards, let me in. I had to fight my way back into the studio again. They wouldn't let me back in again. They didn't like what I had to say last time. I can't remember what I said last time, but I know it was good. And they're afraid to hear it, whatever it was. They're afraid to even listen back to the last episode. They're afraid what it was. Anyway, I brought my way in here because I just came back from sea. I've been at sea for months. I was trying to find land, but I couldn't find any. That's when I realized I didn't have a compass. Turns out I was just sailing around in circles for months. It wasn't even a big ocean, it was the Pacific. They told me that's huge, and I said I've seen larger oceans than that. I was at sea to try and find a mermaid. I heard mermaids live in the ocean. Some people told me, but I think those people were lying. I was in that ocean for months, I didn't see a single mermaid. I saw a couple of mermen, but they just laughed at me when they saw me sailing around in circles. After a while of going around in circles, I felt dizzy, so I sat down and closed my eyes. I meditated for years. And when I opened my eyes again, I was in California, Liechtenstein, Morocco. I was in Morocco. The Moroccan said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I don't know. I thought I was going to seduce a merman. Find out all those merman secrets. Take me down to the bottom of the ocean with this merman society and where I can start a family with some mermen. Maybe be a house cat or something." And the Moroccan looked at me as if I was crazy. And I said, "You bastard, I might be crazy, but I'm not crazy." Next thing I knew, I was halfway under a steamroller. Want to find out what happened next? After this break.
Purchase clam juice today. It's good for you, probably. The clam juice makes my tummy hurt.
Now you might be wondering, Creezer, you were halfway under a steamroller. Doesn't that mean half your body is flat now? I said maybe, but I haven't looked down at my legs yet. I'm too scared. I might see things I don't want to see. In fact, I've never seen my legs before. I've never looked at them even once. They asked me how do I put my suit on in the morning, and I said this suit never comes off my body. I sleep in it, I bathe in it. When I walk into a room, people say, "Wow, oh my god, that's a terrific suit." And I say, "Shut the hell up, you bastards." Some guy tried to peel the suit right off my body once. And I said, no, I'm not having that. And so I threw the guy off a window. He might be dead. People told me he might be dead, but I didn't stick around to check. A few weeks later, I saw the guy walking down the streets. I said, "You're not dead, you bastard. They told me you were dead." The guy just stared at me and said he'd never seen me before, and said he didn't know who I was. He looked at me like I was crazy. That's 2 people in a row. Can you believe it? So I threw him out the window again. That'll teach you for not remembering who I am, you bastard. By the end of the month, I was arrested on 6 counts of murder. Apparently all the victims died from being thrown out the window. I said that's impossible. I've never even seen a window before. I spent the next 45 years in jail for crimes I'm not even sure I can remember. More on that after some music, I guess. That's the crap today's society is listening to? Give me a break. Anyway, during my 45 years in jail, I couldn't stop thinking about those mermen. So as soon as I got out of jail, I went back out to sea to look for them. And what do you know? I couldn't find them. They were hiding from me. I asked the local fishermen and they said, all the mermen went extinct 45 years ago. I said, that's impossible. I was here 45 years ago. He tells me some crazy bastard was sailing around the ocean in circles, hitting all the mermen on a hit and run. I said, what bastard would do such a thing? Then that fisherman said to me, well, hold on a second. I remember you, and I said, finally, someone who remembers me. And he said, you're that crazy bastard who was hitting all those mermen. So I sailed away as far as I could from the scene of the crime. The moral of today's story is, never trust a merman, never trust a fisherman, and always throw a man out of a window if he deserves it. They're turning off the lights in here now, so I think the power's about to cut out in the studio. This is evidence, this is proof, they don't like what I have to say.